Hello everyone, welcome. I'm going to do another little project here. I was watching a video not too long ago by, I think it was Karen Elaine, and it was an old one. It was probably a year old. And what she did was she was using this fabulous Micropore tape by 3M to make some washi tape. And here I've got a little bit that I made just of a couple different colors here. And she says it becomes semi-transparent when you put, so you can see a little bit through it here. And it becomes semi-transparent when you put some matte medium on it. So I am going to make some tape. So I had a few stumbles and starts here. I started mixing some color on an old gel plate. As you can see, I've used it for alcohol inks, and that was magenta, and I added a little bit of purple to it. I wanted to get a really, really dark, almost maroon. My plan is to use it in making a kitty cat. So I am taking I tried to use a makeup sponge, it did not work. I switched to a stencil brush. So this is pretty purpley looking, but I kind of like it. And so what I do is I take my stencil, I stencil using the brush, and then I end up flipping it over. And here I'm using another stamp. I had a stamp that has all of those circles. I used some of that. Now I'm going to add some more white to the color I already have. And I tried to go through this very, very small stencil, and I didn't really like it that much. So I kind of gave up on that. And I decided that I would continue on. I would try to make a brown of some sort. And I was going more toward orange, but I add cad to the color I had and it went pretty brown. So I started stamping in. Is a stamp that has music lines. And so I started just stamping in different textures. That one was a leaf. And I just keep on finding different textures to put in it and seeing what I can get working. These are some words, very tiny words. I used my black, that one's my black stays on pad. I'm putting some words in it and just keep on working back and forth. This is another stamp that I have. I'm putting in a little more red, and I'm going to see what I can get if I put some more red, or actually I think that was more of an orange color. So I'm kind of working with purple and orange here, and I'm rolling it on my stamp. And now I've decided I'm going to take another stencil and I'm going to use that and put some of the orange. I'm liking the purple and the orange together. And again, I flip over the stencil and see if I can get the opposite pieces to work. So this is a back and forth and a back and forth process. Going back to the magenta, which is much more deep of a magenta than that one that I added purple to. Using another stencil, and again, I'm only using parts of the stencil. I very rarely use a whole stencil. I'll use parts of it. My idea is I want to have a nice rhythm of color, and I want to have it going back and forth over the whole thing. I stopped and I dried the piece, and then I added a little more in the way of some black stamps, and I also used a bit of some white to kind of swirl in there. And I'm just about done with it. I'm just going to add a few more gentle highlights of sorts, and so here you'll see me trying to add some gold highlights to it. And then I decided, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some glitter. I had some glitter glue and I added that, and I loved the effect that happened. I just took a brush and I just kind of let it go all over. So at the very, very top of it, there's just a thin layer of glitter. It sparkles. So I'm pretty happy with what this has turned out to be. Grabbed a little more of the copper that I had on that plate and filled in some spaces, but I'm happy with it. And I hope you guys will try this experience yourself. It was really fun to do. Thanks. Bye. Okay, I'm back and I've dried it. And so now I want to kind of show you what happens here with this washi tape. So here, as you can see, I'm pulling off this nice piece of tape. And here you go. And it'll be nice and sticky. And I can use it for, washi tape here. Here I go, and here's my piece, and it's still sticky enough that it will stick to things. I'm probably going to put this aside because I'm probably going to use it in my next project. But then I think I'll keep the rest of the washi tape on this little, well, I may pull that very bottom one off because the bottom one is not on the whole thing. I don't know how I successfully did that, but it wasn't on the whole thing. So here I'm going to pull it off too. And I've got another piece of interesting washi tape here. So I'm going to take these and pull them aside. And I think I'm going to store the rest of them, just store them on this little piece of paper. I mean, I can lightly wrap the edges around and then I can pull them off anytime I want them. I think it'll be an easy way to store the tape, and you can see how beautiful all of those different colors are. And I love when I don't know, you can see the shininess of the gold. So the next project that I'm doing is actually going to be something else I saw. I think it was Elaine doing, or Elaine Karen. I have to look it up again. And what that was she ended up making a washi tape, literally just like a washi tape critter. What she did was she just kept on grabbing pieces of washi tape. I can see that I really didn't perfectly do this whole thing, but that's okay. I like these little pieces just kind of showing up here. Gonna use some of these to start with. Make kind of small little spaces. I've got a little extra stuff maybe here. So she just started pulling different washi tapes together and kind of making a collage. So I sped this up because you don't have to see me putting all these little pieces of tape on, but basically I'm just making a patchwork of different colors of washi tape. I had a bunch and I kind of grabbed some colors that worked well together, some maroons and some oranges and some reds with some gold and some gold tape, and I just keep on working back and forth and back and forth. I need to fill up the whole space. And so toward the end I put some really nice shiny gold pieces on it, but then I decided I needed to cover them a little bit, see if the cat would fit, added some more, and just kept on working back and forth until I got the whole area filled. Okay, I think now this should cover the whole kitty critter. Okay, I just have to make sure it's gonna Either way should work. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to put this in kind of, definitely I got to get this kind of in the middle, because I have to make sure that everything gets covered. And then she did a really cool thing. She just used a little bit of, I think it was some kind of pan pastels or charcoal or something. I'm just going to use a little bit. I have a little bit of distressed oxide here. So I'm just going to use a tiny, tiny bit of that. And then what she did, she put it in here and she just went on the back like this so that she had something that she could use to cut out. So then, I'm going to take that. I loved that tip. Probably would have been better doing pan pastels than distressed oxide, but the pan pastels weren't easily accessible. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure this right here has plenty of coverage. So I'm going to just double make sure that that has got some coverage, because it wasn't. Let me see. So now I look at it and I can see that there's coverage throughout. That actually helped. And now I'm going to take my little scissors and I'm going to cut her out. Snip, snip, snip. I just cut out my cat with my little sharp scissors. And I figured you all knew how to do that, so no worries. Thanks. I'm going to flip them over and I've got definitely a calico cat. I'm going to do another cat in the hopes that I can put it on this darker background. So what I did is I started with a black piece of cardstock. The black piece of cardstock with the see-through washi tape gives me a better depth of color. And I did the same thing I did before. Started with washi tape that I made myself. And then I just ended up with lots of other pieces of some washi tape, some that I made myself and some that I had out of my collection. But most of it I was trying to focus more on dark. I had some of this Van Gogh Starry Night washi tape that worked really well on getting dark. So here I am, just quick putting everything down, and I will get back to the process in a moment. Now my only thing is, when I do white, I can really see where it's going to come on the front. This time I really have a little bit, I think this is going to be fine. It's a little bit more challenging, and I need to find a lighter color to put on this back. So I'm just using a tiny bit of distressed oxide. I'm just using this little brush, and all I'm doing is giving it just a little bit of you can see going to be able to see what's happening here. So when I pull this up, theoretically, you can see the cat shimmer. Of course, that might just be the way to make the cat, to make it perfectly on here. And I may decide to do that. Hey, I sped it up again so you don't have to watch me carefully cut this out. One of the things that I ended up doing is I tried to cut it out in one piece because I wanted to use that one piece in another card. But carefully cutting it out, cleaning off the back, and now all is done. Very nice cat. And he's sitting in the opposite direction. So does he fit in there? Still, the answer is unfortunately no. As much as I like this, it's not appropriate for this background. The background, I think that what happens is the background becomes too busy. So I can take something really quiet like this and I put him on and he just sings. So I think I'm going to have to do something else with my nifty little cats. But in the whole process, what I've discovered is that I can do a wonderful cat using a little bit of the distressed oxide. So here, I'm going to want a cat in this direction, I think. So here, I can take, I liked how it looked with this almost pink distressed oxide. I'm just going to hold it down, and I'm going to give myself a little bit. There I go. Because I think that cat's going to look pretty fabulous on there. So now I have two choices. I can either use this side, which gives me a kind of a gray cat, or I can use this size, which just gives me a black cat. I'm actually thinking with what's happening with everything here, I am kind of voting for the black cat. Again, if I do that, I've got to clean off a bit of this background, just because when I go to put it down, I really don't want, it's going to reactivate my color here, and I don't want that to happen. So do I like it gray? Oh, I don't know. I kind of like it gray too, but no, I think I like it just black. And I think I like this guy. Let me see him. I like that. There. And again, I probably am going to put one of my moons in. So I can put a little moon. That one's a littler moon. You can't hardly see it. I can put a darker moon. That one's bigger, but it's not really luminous. Or I can put this moon, which to me is much more luminous, which I think I will do. I'm going to call yep, that's what I'm going to do. Now that I've decided what I'm going to do, I'm using a satin gel medium to put the layers down. And what I do is I put the satin down on what I'm doing, and then I put it on the back, especially on the cardstock, and then I lay it all on, and I put a third layer, and really then a fourth layer of the satin. Why I use the gel is it is not quite as wet, and I find it dries quicker, and I have less problem with rippling. And why I use the satin is I want to same thing all over. Now I'm putting a little bit of the glitter glue on and just highlighting the kitty. And that's what I did to finish it. I used a little bit of the glitter glue. Thanks. So now I've got to wash that off because glitter gets everywhere. I love this glitter glue because it's it's called glitter glue. It's glue full of glitter. So now I'm going to have to let this dry, and after it's dry, I'll have to decide whether I'm going to put it on something like a gold sheet like this, or probably I'll put it back on another piece of black cardstock, which I may or I may not decide I am going to put a design in. I haven't decided yet. So here are the end results of my experimentation with this. This is the card that I just showed you how I made with a little bit of the glitter. This is my favorite. Now I did try to use a little bit of the another piece of black with some gold on it. Don't like it quite as much. And then here I made a card using that patchwork quilt stuff that I showed you. And here's another card using the negative of the patchwork quilt stuff. So had a great time making cards. And please follow me on my station and give me a thumbsy upsy if you can. Thanks.